Hi folks, welcome to another round of conversations with Raghu Vohra, founder at Blackstone Valley Group and an investor in CapitalMind. As a disclosure right from the beginning, anything in this conversation should not be treated as investment advice. It is just opinion that we express on the show. Firstly, welcome Raghu and thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, well, good to be back. How have you been? I see a lot of good work being done by you on Twitter, on Capital Mind. So exciting times, huh?
Yeah, exciting is the word, man. These markets, they never let us rest easy. Uh, So here I think Raghu, to just have, we want to ask you something specific. You have the knowledge of, worldwide fixed income investing, and I see it's a nice and bright sunny day over there. So I'm going to make it quick. I know you want to probably get out and enjoy the sun, but tell us a little bit about, fixed income as funds, the way they're set up. People keep thinking, oh, all they invest in is bonds. So what do they do? What do fixed income funds invest in?
Right, so that's a great question, right? Most people, if you ask the ordinary guy on the street, they would say, hey, fixed income means they're only investing in bonds. And nothing can be farther from the truth. To understand this, let's go back a step back as how these funds are set up, right? When a fixed income fund is set up, they have to define their core strategy. They have to decide what is there going to be a target AUM, or in the bond world they known as BUM. What's bond under management? How much is that going to be? What is going to be their target criteria? What is the risk return profile? So there are these different setups. But what is more important is that there are a few setups, which is, for example, the mandate. Mm-hmm. You will find, interestingly, most of the fund mandates are given to the managers is very broad. Right. A broad mandate means that the fund manager can invest in whatever way he thinks is good. Another thing a lot of people don't know this is that a bond manager can actually go as high as 25% of the total AUM, BUM he has under his management to invest in one particular bond.
You mean issue concentration? Okay.
Yes. But that's all hidden under the layers of paperwork which you never see, the board of trustees sign off, and and again, bond managers never abuse that. It's just to give them flexibility. So if there is a whiplash in the market, they can move and react quickly. Mm-hmm. So that is the first part. The second part is that when you look at what can they trade, so they can trade currency for risk. They can trade what you know as an interest rate swap. They can trade a currency swap. They can trade swaptions. They can trade collateral debt CDOs. They can trade CLOs. They can even trade preferred stock. And when I say trade, that is invest, buy and sell, buy and sell. They can even go in the repo market. They can even go in market. They can invest in hedge funds or the alternatives, private equity. So there are at least 10 to 15 different instruments which are in a normal course of a day a bond manager uses to hedge his position, get the higher return, seek alpha, and that is a point where I think a lot of people don't have that information because it's known as safe. Once you start knowing, oh, bonds, this manager is investing in swaptions. What the hell is swaptions, right? Can I do this? So is it risky? So I think the media and the bond world has done a very good job of keeping the lid under this. And it's a structural thing, and it's a good thing. I think the managers should have the flexibility to invest in whatever instrument they think is necessary. See, sometimes there is excess cash parked with them. What's the point of having cash with you? So they will lend it overnight, or they will lend it for a certain time period, or they will just sometimes they are negative lambda, so sometimes they have to borrow cash because it's easier to do the carry position in a foreign exchange derivative transaction. So they borrow it. So even after interest and carry, they still make some money. So I think that's something which is not widely known or not widely prevalent, except for the participants in the industry. So yeah, great question.
That's interesting. In India we get this perhaps semi-closeted regulation set that decides that, for instance, bond managers here, bond mutual fund managers here, can't invest in currency derivatives or in perhaps even sometimes bond market derivatives. So, for instance, if there were bond market futures, they aren't allowed to invest in them right now because also it's a nascent market early enough for us to be saying, okay, this is a little scary and you don't want to handle the leverage piece and forex is of course beyond limits for most mutual funds, in fact for all mutual funds in India as far as I know. So is this true worldwide? I mean, I understand you're looking at some of the American larger funds which possibly handle more money in a single day than all of India's AUM, over the year. But would this also be true from a country-specific perspective?
No, so I think let's make a distinction, right? Mutual funds again can be broad based, right? And fixed income, equity, what part of that fund is invested where? I think if the fund mandate, and this is where the fund mandate comes in, right? If the fund mandate, as per as the governance, like if as per as the regulation, if SEC allows a certain fund to, participate in different financial instruments, then the fund has to do that and has to disclose that. You will often find that information in the disclosure statement. Typically, what happens is in mutual funds, since it is very large and highly regulated, they tend not to do too much of financial instrument leveraging or trading, right? Because their mandate is very specific. If you're in a long short Vanguard fund or a Fidelity fund or a Pimco fund or BlackRock fund, the long short itself tells you that there is going to be an inherent core hedging strategy within that fund. Now, there is no specific regulation as to say you can't do this, you can't buy because it's a long short fund, right? So you will have some positions to hedge, some positions to carry, and then overall for the whole portfolio, right, you will still want to have some sort of risk variance there. So if you're if you're a long short, but now you're in an emerging market, have to hedge the currency, right? There is no other way you will survive if you don't have a currency hedge option there. So I think there is certain percentages which the bond managers play with to kind of hedge. As you saw what happened when the Swiss franc episode, right? A lot of people got caught with their pants down, literally with their and smart trading desks, right? Banks trading desks. Because they were not hedging. They had not hedged. So, from a regulation perspective, I think India is overtly regulated because of scandals and the fear of the retail investor losing all the money. But, you look at other scenarios, I think the government is overreaching.
Oh, of course. I mean, I think I've always been a feeling that, we don't allow a lot of people to do a lot of things just because we're scared that they'll do something and destroy everything. But obviously that's not true because every time they've opened up markets, our markets have become stronger, not weaker. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that the people in control want to just demonstrate their power rather than give it up and allow the market to determine direction in a lot of these cases. So India is backward, perhaps backward enough to warrant lesser attention as it has from foreign players or worldwide investors.
Yeah, I'll share an interesting tidbit with you. The last 5 years, the two Asian economies which have seen the highest inflows of foreign funds is India and Indonesia.
Okay.
India has actually averaged about $19 to $21 billion over the last 5 years. If you look at fixed income, this is only on equity side, okay? On fixed income, in the last total 5 years, you just have $29 billion coming.
But
all the overflow is now going into the corporate bonds because no other way to hedge your risk unless you're going and so all the Reliances and the Tatas of the world who have their debentures and bonds out there, they are seeing the excess flow coming in.
Well, you have a limit, right? $25 billion is the limit on government security, so you can't buy more than it even if you wanted to, which is also sad because it's 3% of India's total issuance.
Right.
So, at some point, over is really more appropriate here than, anything reasonable. But yeah, I guess from a fund perspective, when you come back to a mandate, what specific things would a fund's mandate restrict it from doing versus say regulation?
Well, a fund's mandate would prohibit you explicitly in 4 or 5 different areas. First, it might prohibit you from geographically investing outside. A lot of sovereign funds in the world have a component. Minimum percentage of that fund has to be invested in local instruments.
I see.
Some funds are also just mandated to invest in quasi-sovereign offerings. Quasi-sovereign, like maybe the Indian Railway bond, right?
I see.
It's a government-owned entity with bond market, right? The other restrictions which come is basically how much can a manager invest in a particular asset class? How much can the fees, that is very important structurally, because in the end, some funds are designed for institutions, and their fee structure and their investment mandate is different than funds being open for retail investors. So if you look at both, the institutional funds have more flexibility in investing in a range of solutions and a broader mandate.
Okay.
But the funds for the retail investor, they tend to have a narrower mandate just as a safeguard. Plus, there is a very important check mark. What is your core strategy? Right? If your core strategy on a disclosure is long short, you cannot go and have 10% position of your fund in an arbitrage, in an arbitrage situation, special situation. You can't have, so there are restrictions which forces a manager to act within a mandate.
I see.
And which are beyond the regulations, right? This is something which a company which launches the fund does to protect its own self and its investors.
Got it. Yeah, India, I mean, we've seen a few funds in India that say you can only invest in funds which are short term, by basis of saying I will only invest in, paper that's less than 90 days. And then you have the restrictions on rating. So it says I'll do only AAA or AA plus,
Right.
which obviously skew things up because when a company's rating falls below AAA, they have to sell the bonds. But the reason it has fallen from AAA is because people have been selling its bonds. So there's a double whammy that happens.
Self-fulfilling
Prophecy. So I guess a lot of complications come into the mandate as well.
Right. So coming on the ratings, ratings again, but you see ratings, there is Moody's and S&P.
Mm-hmm.
And then every firm has its own proprietary rating model. So I think unless, and you have flexibility. See, Puerto Rico was never above C.
Okay.
But investors still went, funds still went and invested there, right? It doesn't matter what is the quality of your product, right? See, what happens is, again, ratings is a very complex world. You have a top level entity, or you have a corporate holding, which has many more holdings, right? For Bank of America still has offerings from countrywide. Countrywide had issued some countrywide, right? So there is a lot of slices of that offering, and you have to look at each individual slice. You cannot say Bank of America is a double A plus, because collectively it might not be. You have to look at slicing the entities on an individual asset level almost, right? Ticker level.
Right.
To see what is this individual holdings ratings. And what happens is that gives the flexibility to the managers to say, okay, I'm buying Bank of America. But inherently, you are also buying a piece of countrywide,
Because if things happen, bad things happen to Bank of America, because of countrywide, you are going to get impacted, right?
Right. So, and the market is discounted or market has not anticipated. So those are again some of the flexibilities the fixed income guys have who work on this, whether it's mortgage securities, sovereign, bonds. There are different instruments available for the fund managers.
That's great. And Raghu, you briefly touched upon it, I guess, Puerto Rico. We've done Greece, we've done China, we've got Puerto Rico on the radar. So what's happening out there?
I think it's again the question of sustenance of the revenues. Whenever you structure a country bond or a sovereign bond, or you look at the revenues and you look at the tax collections, you look at the deficits, you project, right? You're projecting that we will be here by this time. Like I was reading a paper on Greece from 2014, where those projections are nowhere near in 2015. And again, they are going to do the same thing again. Right? So it's basically projections, and then people are taking a educated guess. Right? It's a risk investment. But again, listen, smart money was not there in Greece. That's why you didn't see the impact. Yeah, the media, there is going to be a media impact. But smart money had left Greece a long time ago.
Right.
See the banks and the IMF left holding the bag. Same with Puerto Rico. Very few smart money funds, unless they're expressly junk bonds, who have a mandate to invest in risky instruments, they all moved out of Puerto Rico.
So who's holding the bag there?
A lot of hedge funds do.
Oh, I see.
A lot of hedge funds do. See, hedge funds again in Greece also, you actually did a post rating, right? So hedge funds are very aggressive in taking those bets because their returns are outsized, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can afford to have a high risk portfolio, some portion of the portfolio with high risk bets because they generally deliver a outsized return. So there are hedge funds, there are some local pension funds, whose mandate is that they have to invest in that quality of paper which is rated, which is issued by a certain governmental authority. So see, sometimes investment decisions are bad because of your mandate. You have no choice. You have to buy what is there in the market.
Yeah, if you're a Puerto Rican fund, what are you going to do? You can't go invest in
Exactly. So what happens is, again, I think a lot of the flexibility the bond managers have in managing that risk versus return helps them navigate this situation. And again, it was the trifecta weekend, right? Greece and Puerto Rico. See, Greece, nobody expected the referendum, but everybody expected a U-turn.
Right.
Whether the referendum had happened or not, right? Everybody understood political posturing. But it went on to an extreme level, which kind of created a certain, certain disorder in the market, certain instability. But people then started talking about, hey, Portugal, Spain, here are some facts. Portugal and Spain, the pigs, right, out of the pigs, let's pick up Portugal and Spain and Italy. 65% to 70% of their sovereign debt is owned by non-domestic holders.
I see.
So that means they are outsiders who have invested in those funds, right? So that tells you that there is a lot of confidence of the market participants in saying that these guys will not go the Greek route.
Right.
But when you're on media, when now you are a media personality yourself, media likes to create headlines, right? They want to have people's attention, and they will say, "Oh, Greece is now exiting out of Euro," and it's we have had papers written on Greece exit, but in the end of the day, as we talked about last time, it is death by 1,000 cuts, and it's going to get worse. Nobody is ever going to be happy. But there are structural changes. See, 96% of the people who are eligible to pay income tax in Greece don't do it.
Yeah, don't like India.
Yeah. So you can come protest on the streets and complain about austerity, but you get pension guaranteed at 50, 55. Things have to change, and there is pain there, right? Nobody wishes bad for other people, but there is pain, and it's the people, the government, and the organization who should come and kind of get a solution out there. So in a nutshell, that is Greece. I don't think so. Again, it's impact on Portugal or Spain. The quality of their paper is really high, and people have started investing in those countries again. So I think Greece will be the eyesore of EU.
Let's see how the structuring goes. I guess they've started on austerity. It's going to be fun to watch. Well, not fun from a fun perspective being Greek. I'm sure it's not fun for anybody in Greece. But what's really happened is a lesson in a lot of ways to a lot of people. The a level that Greece had to stoop to in eventually in order to stay within the confines of the euro, and them almost realizing right at the end that without any of these euro support, they would actually be dead in the water. That
Correct.
that realization, I think, came in a little late after much of the political posturing was over. So, but interestingly, this is become a line of thinking. You've got elections in Spain later that said we're going to probably have to vote left or extreme left at some point. Much of that must have gone away. So the economic has become the political now.
Correct. Correct.
So
Very.
that's the sea change. Yeah.
If you look at history of sovereign defaults, whether it's Cyprus or whether it's Argentina and now Greece, those countries always will struggle coming back in the international diaspora because pull me once, shame on you, pull me twice, shame on me, right? It's like people are very skeptical. See, Argentina is again people don't talk because it's very municipal part, but they are involved in sovereign disputes all over the world with hedge funds, with government authorities. You know what? That restricts the ability of the people to come in the common place, and it restricts the ability of the funds to come into you.
Absolutely. I mean, undoubtedly, it's one of the. No, Argentina is one of the only countries that's managed to default twice in the last 10 years. I don't know how it's managed to do that, but Greece has done it what 5 times in the last 300 years or. So, but this is probably the interesting part of global economics that 20 years ago, if you told me that Greece defaulted, I would literally say, so what? And now it is like it's got implications on India and it's got implications in China, and you realize the global nature of the world, and I guess that makes that global bond fund also so much more complicated to manage because you don't know where something is going to come from that impacts you.
Exactly. So see again, there was a question asked to me on Twitter about diversification, and basically the respondent was, hey, look at Rakesh Junjunwala or some of the other Dolly Khanna's portfolios, and they have diversified across equity. Then my question to him was how are you managing risk? You're still in the same asset class. You're still in equities. You're not even gone beyond equities. Right? So I think there is this misconception that if I diversify within an asset class, my risk is hedged. The second misconception is that I need to, if I, between a mix of fixed income and equities, my risk is again hedged. It is not the case. Because fixed income is very highly correlated to equities market. For example, if you look at the interest rate curves, the large caps are correlated with the longer term treasuries, and then the small caps are actually negatively impacted. It doesn't matter if you have a portfolio with 10 equities and 3 long funds and 3 short funds. The correlation factor is what matters. So when fund managers look at a global perspective, they're looking at GDP, inflation. We spoke last time, sovereign risk, political risk, geopolitical risk on a macro level. Then they are trying to decompose that risk and say, what is the smallest factor of this risk I can get to? And then they try to build their portfolios from a factor perspective. It's more based on the arbitrage pricing theory model rather than the efficient, the Markowitz model or the CAPM model. If you're building a global bond fund, that's the macro level risk you have to take. And then asset class specific, right? Duration, curve, yield, curvature. These are all the asset class specific risks. So basically you're decomposing macro and asset class factors, bringing it together and saying how correlated is my portfolio.
I see.
And then, institutions do this for a longer term perspective. They are not taking this. They are not trading. They are building a portfolio for, let's say, pension funds. they're building it for retirement funds. So they're looking at 10 to 15 years horizon, where for the pension funds, also a term for liability-driven investing, right? You have to have X, Y. You always have to be 90 or 95% close to your ratio for the pension funds to pay out, right? Because the payouts happen at certain. So when a global fund manager is building those funds, and Singapore, Temasek invest, Australia invest, Dubai invest, Abu Dhabi invest, Norway invest, he has to take into consideration all those things and say what happened, right? I have a oil shock now. From a supply side, first time ever in the history of the world, we have a supply shock from oil. Every other shock was a demand shock.
Right? As in too much supply versus too little.
Yeah, so right now we have too much supply, right? That's why the price is impacted. This was the first time that has happened. In the previous shocks, the shock was all on the demand side. So you saw oil spike to 140, 180, wherever it went, right? So what is the supply chain impact of this? So when a global fund manager is looking at all these things, he's also looking at structuring his portfolio that it can manage this, right? It can manage this shock. See, what has typically happened is you could predict, hey, this is a bubble now, they're saying there's a VC bubble in US. But the thing is, the reality is due to the global correlation in the markets, we are going to see whiplash events. We might not see black swan events, but we're going to see whiplash events. And what it means is that you're going to see a sudden, unexpected correction in the market on the other direction.
I see. So, in a way, sorting out the bubbles by using small, rapid corrections.
Totally unexpected. You will never, it's not in the horizon, and it happens because it gets triggered by some news or, out of these 4 or 5 sectors. Let's say, I tweeted about the US market economy really coming back on the new orders, the inventories of the CDI, right? They're coming back up. Let's say tomorrow, next month, that number goes down drastically. Maybe it's an academic error, right? You don't know. Maybe it's a data collection error. But you can imagine what that news can do to the market, right? You will have a whiplash effect. So I think the managers are trying to build their portfolios in such a way that they can withstand this in-duration shocks and not have to rebalance. But what that means is it becomes a very intense management on their part.
Because if you hedge the unexpected, you're going to lose money on the expected. So as long as things are within range, your returns are going to be substandard in that context.
Correct. So it's not that you can just invest in a treasury bond and walk away and your work for the day is done. So it's more intensive now.
I see. So this is interesting because it gives you a perspective, and largely for us, we look at this almost with awe because hardly any of us get to see a perspective of this sort. And India is still coming up in the bond market, so I'm sure there's a lot more to learn from stuff abroad. So on that note, thanks very much, Raghu. I think it's been a great time conversing. Thanks for coming on the show, and we'd love to have you again. We will have you again. You're invested in us, so you don't have a choice. So we're gonna keep coming back. But thanks again. Thanks for coming on to the show. And to all of you who listen, please feel free to comment or mention. Come on to the Slack group if you're a premium member and tell us more. We will post. We will take questions and we'll have more. Anything more that you need to know, we'd love to answer. Thanks again for coming on the show, Raghu, and have a great day.
You too, man. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.